Was there truly ever a doubt? Maybe. But in today's video, we'll discuss how five-star edge in the class of 2026, LaDamion Guyton, has officially canceled his Georgia visit set for this weekend and has scheduled his visit out to the 806 for later this season. When is it? We'll give you that, as well as the latest on five-star quarterback in the class of 2027, Kavian Bryant. When is his commitment date? Who are the top 5 schools in his Texas Tech? The odds-on favorite? Let's discuss. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Red and Black Report. Appreciate y'all tuning into today's video. It was a interesting week on the recruiting trail for the Red Raiders in the sense that you get LaDamion Guyton to reclassify, and then there's the, murmurs and tweets going out from very much people in the know, Pete Nakos and others at Rivals saying, hey, he's got a visit scheduled for Georgia this weekend. Then just panic by Texas Tech fans, some of them, not all of them, saying, oh my gosh, we're going to lose them to Georgia, aren't we? Well, have no fear. That visit has been canceled. But let's give a little bit more of a timeline, shall we, on this one. You see it on your screen right there. This was earlier in the week. 2027 number 1 overall prospect, LaDamion Guyton, is reclassifying to the class of 2026. That, according to Pete Nakos. And if you're not following Pete, I would highly encourage you to do so. I truly believe he's the best in the business right now, along with Steve Wiltfong. Guyton is committed to Texas Tech. We all knew that. We all knew that he was committed to Texas Tech. The issue was this, as I get this on your screen in terms of, Steve Wiltfong, the aforementioned Steve Wiltfong, 5-star plus edge in Texas Tech commit LaDamion Guyton has canceled his visit to Georgia this weekend, per Steve Wiltfong. Guyton reclassified from 2027 to 2026. And now, if you watch the instant reaction video we had here on the channel discussing Guyton reclassifying to the class of 2026 and talking about my expectations for him, I said I really wasn't worried, even knowing he was going to go to Georgia potentially to visit the Bulldogs. Reason being this, okay? I truly believe there is not another really program in the country that is doing recruiting better at this current point in time than the Red Raiders. Is NIL part of it? Sure. People love to only talk about the money aspect of it. They're not talking about the fact that Joey McGuire, James Blanchard, Brian Nance, and the entire recruiting department for the Red Raiders are the absolute best in the country at developing relationships, and maybe more than that, identifying talent early, okay? If you identify talent early and you're not good at the relationship part of it, you're not going to get anybody, right? And vice versa, okay? Obviously, money is a factor now, but these guys have put countless hours into recruiting LaDamion Guyton, and sometimes it doesn't work out for teams that do that. But Texas Tech has the means, they have the plan, and maybe most importantly, they have that relationship equity built up, and it is paying dividends for the Red Raiders when it comes to landing elite talent. Oh, and it also helps that, LaDamion Guyton's high school quarterback, Cannon, he's the quarterback in the class of 2026. That was also a pretty big deal for Texas Tech in this recruiting process for LaDamion Guyton. Guyton will be on campus later this year for the BYU game on November 8th out in the 806, where Texas Tech will be wearing those icy Patrick Mahomes Gladiator jerseys. Can't wait to watch that in person, as I will be out in the 806 for that one too. Someone over on Scarlet and Black Insider actually asked, have we seen RC and LaDamion Guyton at the same place at the same time? I'm here to tell you straight up, I'm not LaDamion Guyton. I don't think that that's a Captain Obvious thing. I mean, I thought that was just known. Not Captain Obvious. That's even beyond the Captain Obvious side of things. But I digress. LaDamion Guyton has reclassified to the class of 2026, and he will no longer take his visit to Georgia this weekend. Deep breath, exhale, Red Raider Nation. You're okay on that front. And instead, he has planned a trip to Lubbock out to the 806 for early November when the Red Raiders face off against the currently ranked BYU Cougars on November 8th. I believe I'm going to kind of speak it into existence. I think that's going to be a night game out in the 806. I'm really hoping it is, but we shall see. Now, LaDamion Guyton isn't the only guy that you need to monitor in terms of Texas Tech. Now, LaDamion Guyton is obviously committed to the Scarlet and Black. This next guy that we're going to talk about is about to announce his commitment to the college of his choice, and Texas Tech has officially made the top 5. That, according to his dad, Kavian Bryant. You see it on your screen right there. Kavian Bryant will announce his commitment to one of the schools of Florida State, SMU, Texas, Colorado, or your Red Raiders. That will take place on November 1st. And this is a guy that we've talked about here on the channel what feels like every other week, because there is an update. It feels like every other week when it comes to Kavian Bryant. Now, he took all of his visits, and young man, good job. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make an informed decision and also enjoy the hell out of this process, man. You only get to do it once. So I know a lot of people backtracking to LaDamion Guyton were worried about him going to Georgia for that visit. I wasn't personally, because if I was in his shoes, I would love to take a free trip and experience things that are new with my family and have them really have this once-in-a-lifetime type experience. It doesn't mean that I don't want to go to the school I'm already committed to. It's that I want to give my family the opportunity to be a part of this process too and see new things. I think that that's what Kavian Bryant did as well, because he went on all of his official visits. As I pull it back up on the screen right here, he went to all these schools, all right? Some on official visits, some on unofficial visits, but he visited Florida State early on in the year. I believe he was actually at the game where they beat Alabama in week 1. He went to SMU recently. He was down at UT for one of their non-con games. He went out to Boulder to visit Deion Sanders in Colorado, right? He's already been out to Lubbock this year as well. I believe that was for the Oregon State game. So he has been to all of these schools, and he is going to make an informed decision. Now, if you trust the experts on this, guys that are much more in tune with what's happening in his recruiting process and actually talking to people in the circle, we're just giving you the updates just in case you missed it. It sounds like this is going to come down to one of 3 schools, okay? Texas Tech, Florida State, and then, well, let's go ahead and look at the rest of them on there real quick. Surprisingly enough, not SMU or Texas, Colorado. So it sounds like it's going to be the Red Raiders, Florida State, or Colorado in this one. He wants to play early on in his career. That's what's enticing to him about Florida State, the opportunity to potentially play as a true freshman. Now, the opportunity at Texas Tech may be more enticing because of this simple fact. When you look at starting quarterbacks that start as true freshmen, typically they struggle. I don't think that that's shocking to anyone. That is a monumental step up going from the high school ranks to Power 4 status, right? That's just difficult. But Texas Tech has a plan, and this goes back to that relationship and doing the research that this program does for these elite recruits and really any recruit, right? I had somebody tell me that is much closer to this Texas Tech football program than I am, basically say like, hey, like they put a full-on binder together for each of these prospects when they visit, outlining what they want to do in terms of their development, whether that's, hey, we think you should redshirt. Hey, we think you can play right away if X, Y, and Z happens, right? They did the same thing for Kavian Bryant, and he is a guy that you look at the class of 2027 now with Guyton moving to 2026. You have Jalen Brewster, right? You've got Adrian Redmond in that class, right? And then you could potentially have Kavian Bryant. That is a really good fundamental start for the Red Raiders, and they're just getting started, obviously. But Bryant is a guy that everyone in that class would want to play with regardless of position, whether it's on the O-line, skill position players, defensive line, whatever it is. He is a difference maker in terms of elevating that class and getting difference makers to commit in that class as well. And right now, as it stands, according to the experts, 3 teams are in the running, it sounds like, between Texas Tech, Florida State, and Colorado. And it sounds like, according to Wilt Fong, Sam Spiegelman over on Rivals and On 3, that the Red Raiders have the inside track to potentially land him. We're still 2 weeks away from the time of this recording of him announcing his college commitment. But the Red Raiders, as it stands right now, are in a pretty damn good spot to land the number 1 quarterback in the class of 2027. And, well, a guy that I'm uber excited about. I need y'all to go watch some previous videos here on the channel about my thoughts on him. I think he is going to be a bona fide superstar at the collegiate level. And I love the idea of him coming in, not playing right away, sitting a year behind Will Hammond, learning, and then just taking the bull by the horn and saying, I'm QB1 now. Here we go. Let's go out and win some Big 12 titles. He's that type of player, in my opinion. So the Red Raiders are in a good spot to potentially land him, and the Red Raiders are in an even better spot to fend off that school down south. Well, one of the schools down south in that Gotti conference that just has a weird complex that thinks they're better than everybody in the SEC. I'm talking about Georgia. As they fended off, did the Red Raiders, Georgia, to keep the commitment of LaDamion Guyton. He will no longer take his visit to his in-state school. Instead, he cancels that visit for this upcoming weekend and schedules an official visit out to the 806 for November 8th when the Red Raiders are scheduled to face off against the currently ranked BYU Cougars. All right, that's going to do it for your Texas Tech recruiting update. As always, be sure to like the video and hit that subscribe button to stay in the know on all things Texas Tech football and men's basketball, whether it's on the gridiron, the hardwood, the portal, high school recruiting, or injury news, anything else, we've got you covered right here on the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube in the Red and Black Report. All right, as always, I'm RC Maxfield reminding you, stay safe and Rec 'em Tech.